truth behind the disguise. They want us to go away, only our hearts do we obey. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. No ranks, no chains, just unity. One tribe, one light, one destiny. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status quo. Bucking the status quo, we gonna buck the status.
Hello, hello, hello. Ho, or should I say ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. It's an irreverent Christmas. Thank you for spending your time with us. I am joined today by my co-host Roy from the Irreverent Warriors St. Louis chapter and headquarters. And Roy, introduce us to your guest that you brought.
So we brought today the post commander of Post VFW 1831 in DeSoto, Missouri, Mr. Tony Garancia.
Hello.
Don't ask me to spell that because I will butcher it to no end.
Welcome, Tony. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, and we have some late breaking news from the White House. I know everybody's been following the last 48 hours, everything that's been going on in Washington, D.C., and we've got Grunt Style Foundation on the ground. They are and have been at the White House as a guest of the president, and here is what they've been up to.
Okay, we'll sign it. We'll take some questions from the press. You can ask the doctors some questions, and it's an honor to do this. Well, that's a good one. You rate that.
And as you can see there, the president has rescheduled cannabis to Schedule 3 to make it much easier for states and universities to research and study this plant and its medicinal qualities. And this is something that Grunt Style Foundation has worked on for years and years. And I want to point out that over Trump's shoulder while he was signing that was Tim Jensen, the president of Grunt Style Foundation. And Tim and Will Wisner and Mitch, one of our board members, there were several people there in the room advocating for cannabis as an alternative to opioids, cannabis as an alternative to a lot of pharmaceuticals that are being prescribed for different ailments and different things. Veterans have responded very well to cannabis assisting with anything from insomnia to anxiety, and it's shown promising results. So a ton of huge work by the Grunt Style Foundation. It's fantastic that they're being acknowledged on a national scale, on an international scale, for the work that's been done, the advocacy work that's been done on that front. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to them. So on the heels of that, we wanted to talk about how this is apparently the lumber sexual podcast, as Tony pointed out before we all got on. We are all look like lumberjacks, and I'm just here for it.
It's these beautiful Grunt Style.
Yeah.
Flannels. Yeah.
We Grunt Style does a really good job with their flannels. But yeah, so on the heels of that White House announcement, what else has been going on in the Irreverent Warriors community? I know, Roy, you and I traveled down to Florida.
Oh, that was such a blast. The worst part was coming back.
I know. That hike down there at the end of the year, every single year, is just absolutely phenomenal. You can see some of the highlights here. We're doing 22 push-ups for the 22 right there, hiking along in the hike element there with it had to be at least 200 people hiking, and it was pouring rain, and it didn't slow anything down. Everyone was just, the best thing about hiking with military folks is that no matter what happens weather-wise, we're all just laughing and making the best of it. So
if it ain't raining, you ain't training.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, Jess and that whole team down there in Key West did a fantastic job. We went to an old Civil War fort. We went to a botanical gardens with a labyrinth. That was really, really, really incredible. We went down to the beach. What was your favorite part?
Either the buoy for the southernmost point of the continental United States. The lighthouse was a great stop.
Oh yeah, you go up in this lighthouse and you have a view of Key West that no one else has, right?
Yeah, just fantastic.
Yeah.
Overall, they knocked it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't help they've got, probably one of the top 5 best locations to run a hike from, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, that's true. And then the Army-Navy game. We one of the stops, everyone was rooting for the Army-Navy game.
Yep, got to watch the Army-Navy game from the American Legion down there. Got most of the second half.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Also in Irreverent Warriors land last weekend was the San Antonio hike. Almost 350 participants.
Yeah, shout out to Matt Scally. He knocked it out of the park with that thing.
Yes, absolutely. 350 participants, just a massive, massive, massive hike. Huge turnout, huge support from the Grunt Style world, Grunt Style LLC, Grunt Style Foundation. Tons of participation, people coming from all across the United States to go to that San Antonio hike. And from what I can tell, the weather was phenomenal. They did a gingerbread making Battle of the Branches contest, and the Marine Corps won the Battle of the Branches gingerbread house by making Santa's sleigh team 6. And they had guys on the roof and guys posted by the front door about to breach and clear the gingerbread house. So they were the ones that won.
Oh, so many good jokes.
I know.
So many good jokes.
I know.
Were they crayon flavored?
Yeah.
You got
It's
me.
really easy to decorate when you're used to handling crayons.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We're the best with the crafts. And then something else they did was they did an irreverent a Christmas ornament crafting station. And among some of the things that they had were Grinch pubes and snowman balls. And I'll just let your imagination run wild with that. But people were creating some very interesting and creative Christmas ornaments at that hike stop.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those things we should probably not have pictures of because that will get us censored on YouTube.
Well, I mean, these things were the crafts were labeled as such, but I don't think people actually used them that way. But still think it's pretty funny. And then the next hike we have coming up in Irreverent Warriors is the St. Louis Silkies snow hike. Roy, tell us about it. What are you excited about?
Watching everybody else freeze their ruck off.
Come freeze your bells off. That's kind of the tagline we've been telling people around town. But yeah, we've got between 30 and 40 folks already signed up. Mm-hmm. And we've got incredible stops. We're going to be going to the St. Louis Zoo. They're going to be allowing us in the primate house and the reptile house, which is basically the Army and the Marine Corps. And we're going to be able to have up close and personal, kind of see the animals and interact with the animals. The seals are going to be out. That's going to be really, really, really cool. They're really active this time of year. Then we'll be going to the art museum. We'll be going to Max Local Eats, which is the best organic burgers that you can get in St. Louis or maybe even in Missouri. Then we're headed to the Science Center. We're going to go to the F-18 fighter jet, the Blue Angels fighter jet. We're going to check that out. We're going to go to the dinosaur sculptures. We're going to go to the Korean War Memorial, where we've got a bagpiper and a bunch of other things lined up. So, and then we're going to go to the Tam Avenue Arcade and hang out at the arcade. So there's just a lot of really cool things going on throughout the hike. And yes, it will be cold. It will be cold. However, I'll give you two major tips. There's these cheap things you can get on Amazon now called heated socks and heated gloves, and they didn't exist when I was in an infantry unit, but they exist now, and they are game changers.
Well, they existed, but they had battery packs that were the size of my fist to run them then.
True. But those, spending $25, I'm no longer afraid to spend time in the cold. Seriously, it doesn't bother me at all. I'm like, oh, you want to go outside? You want to go on a long walk? I don't care.
And if you really don't like the cold, you can go on Amazon and find heated pants too.
I'm sure you can find everything heated now. Just a whole heated thing.
I'm excited. It's my first hike.
Yeah, this is great. We're going to have you back on afterward and have you talk about your experience, and what you thought. Because beforehand going in, you're like, this looks really weird and uncomfortable. And then afterward, you're like, I get it,
I've watched enough videos and talking with Roy, I think it's just going to be awesome.
Yeah, talk about tell us a little bit how the VFW is supporting the hike. You guys got anybody coming from leadership?
We do, actually. VFW Post 1831 DeSoto, as obviously I'm the commander of, but we have our senior vices coming. Our junior vice is coming as well. So of the 4 line officers, we have 3 coming to the hike.
Fantastic.
So it's going to be a good time. We're going to rep hard, obviously.
Absolutely. Bring a flag.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
We'll bring our charter that is 93 years old. Our flag.
Oh, cool. I love history.
Yeah.
There may be even a moment where you can educate us on that.
Yeah. There's a long storied history with DeSoto VFW. It's the oldest VFW in Jefferson County.
Yeah, and even pre-VFW, guys out of DeSoto fought in the Civil War.
Oh, yeah.
Guys out of DeSoto volunteered and fought in the Mexican War. They fought in World War I, World War II, all the way through.
Yeah, my great-great-great-great-grandpa, Civil War, Union.
Oh, yes, same with mine.
Yeah.
But out of a farm town, Aledo, Illinois.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, but they both fought under Ulysses S. Grant, who is also from the St. Louis area. Hence, we've got his farm here.
Right, Grant's farm,
Grant's farm.
With an amazingly cool fence built out of old Civil War rifles.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. So I mean, this region in general has a tremendous amount of history.
True.
That people forget about.
Yeah.
I mean, DeSoto itself is named after Hernando DeSoto.
The explorer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Did he get killed in Florida?
Man, he was everywhere. I don't know where he got killed. I'm going to have to look that up now.
Yeah, I know. I think it might have been in Florida fighting an indigenous tribe down there. I don't know. I mean, I think, maybe he, got what he deserved. I don't know. No.
Well, there was also a Civil War battle not far from the studio here in Imperial. There was a big Civil War battle.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, they do Civil War battle reenactments down at Pilot Knob, which isn't very far away either.
Yeah, that was a huge battle.
Yeah,
That's what kept St. Louis from falling into the hands of the Confederates. And, when you think about the history of the organizations that defended St. Louis, and you think about like all of us partnering between the VFW and Irreverent Warriors and looking out for the community of St. Louis, you can even level up to the VFW and IW at a national level. The things that we've accomplished, like what you're, Tony, and myself and Roy are all talking about doing here locally. There's also been partnership at the national level of these organizations. It's been really, really, really fantastic. I think some of the highlights of the past 12 months have been Hurricane Helene. We brought several $1 million worth of clothing to the folks that were in North Carolina and East Tennessee. And then for the Guadalupe River flood, there was like 50 tons of gear and equipment that were left and donated at VFW drop points. And then Irreverent Warriors and Grunt Style Foundation and VFW folks convoyed them into the areas that were hit the hardest.
That was this type of partnership is what I think the VFW has been missing. I think the VFW has always wanted to do stuff like that, help.
Sure.
And now we have the vehicle to do that. Like that partnership is, I mean, in no way, shape, or form is that saying that that's all you guys are, Irreverent Warriors. But no, like it's been phenomenal. That was, I get goosebumps when I talk about the response time on that. How quick we responded, and then the support throughout the whole state was phenomenal, I thought.
Yes, absolutely. And your post sent folks to help us when we went into the warehouse and were sorting the gear for the Guadalupe River.
Yeah,
flood.
I think we it was like 4 or 5 of us. Yeah, I think 4 or 5 of us.
6.
Yeah, it came up. I was one of them. I was here. Here. Sorting, but that's we've always wanted to do that. We just never had the plan, if you will, the blueprint.
Right. Yeah, and Tim, who was in that video over President Trump's shoulder when they were signing that in the White House yesterday, Tim and Will were kind of the ones that said, hey, why don't we try to work with the VFW and try to figure out how we can all work together, because these posts can be fantastic drop points for equipment and donations. And then we can all work together to use. A lot of folks from IW and a lot of folks from the VFW have trailers and they have trucks and they have ways to move things without needing a box truck or an 18-wheeler. And so if we get enough folks together, we can, if there's one thing we can do, you guys both told me before you were 4th Infantry Division. I was in the Marine Corps. Like, we can do convoy ops all day long. It doesn't even, as long as you have comm between vehicles and you have a basic plan using Google Maps and whatnot, you can make things happen very quickly. And we all know how things should go in a safe manner, and we're able to execute on that. It's not like we're trying to go clear houses or chop down trees or do anything really crazy. But the convoy operations and the resupply thing, that's like, we can do that without even training.
Yeah, that's, when you boil it down to, that's what most of our deployments was moving logistical equipment from here to there, from here to there. Like, there were the guys who kicked in doors, but they're not the majority of the military.
Yeah. So much goes into supporting the frontline guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I think that when it came to the flood, the big thing is here in Missouri, obviously that's a long way away. Where do we go? Let's say that I did want to get together and I got my post together, and this was without Irreverent Warriors, and we got pallets of food or water or whatever. Where do I go? Mm-hmm. With Irreverent Warriors and the VFW partnership, we have a place to go now, and we have the means to do it.
Yep.
So I think that's I think that that is probably going to be very, very valuable in years to come. I think as we get better at it, I think it's going to be huge.
Yeah, I think the partnership lends wonderfully because the VFW is really good at they have a very large populace to draw from, and they're really great at planning. And we're really great at just, we'll figure it out. Yeah, there's a problem, we'll figure it out.
And we move lightning fast. Like we
don't play by rules.
Right. We can publish plans and move lightning fast if we need to. And so partnering with the VFW, who has that auxiliary, which
huge,
unbelievable down in Texas. They were doing all the sorting. They were doing all of the inventory of what needed to go where, the spreadsheets. Just doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah, the auxiliaries down there at all the posts we went to drop off stuff, they had it locked down. They were sorting everything fantastic. They knew exactly what to send to what group of people, what what people needed, what they didn't need,
Sure.
what the first responders would benefit from versus what the people impacted would respond best with. Like they had
Love
it
it.
nailed down.
Love it.
Yeah, that's what I noticed out of it. I mean, it once again, I guess the best way to look at it is like, the VFWs are all small little towns, and Irreverent Warriors was the interstate to make it happen.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Yeah, tell us more about your post and what your plans are, what your vision is, because we've all been working, obviously the local Irreverent Warriors chapter is pretty new, but we have been looking for different VFW posts locally that are excited to partner with us. And it seems your post has kind of stood up and been one of the most outspoken. My post, 3,500, we're still getting our leadership team organized to be able to execute. But it seems like you all, one of the biggest in the state, right?
Yeah, it's not, we're not the biggest, but we're the best. All right. So there's a huge difference there. We have some of the most active members, and I think part of that comes from, we also have the youngest leadership team of, I'm pretty sure, any VFW in the nation.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So, with myself, I'm only 41, which I know that's crazy that we're the young guys, right? But,
I know. I'm 40. I just turned 45 on Tuesday, and I'm like, yeah, we're the young veterans.
By the way, happy birthday.
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
The Book of Faces was going crazy this week with all the fan art for you.
I am sure it's irreverent. I can't wait to see it.
So we just have a young leadership team, and we're eager to get out there, and we're eager to touch the lives of the younger veteran.
Yeah.
And that's we've been trying to provide a place for younger veterans. And whenever I first became a member of the VFW, which next year will be 20 years for me, which is insane, I never went in there. It was it just wasn't for me. And don't get me wrong, they were always very welcoming, but it just wasn't for me at that time. And this last time I came in, I never left.
That's awesome.
So I've been in there ever since. We have there's so many people I could shout out. The podcast isn't long enough.
Sure. Yeah.
And the past commanders, they set forth a really good traditions that make sure that the stuff that happens at a lot of places, fraud and things like that, don't happen at our post.
Wonderful.
Which is a good thing. So
Yeah.
So commander 41, the senior vice is 42, the junior vice is 38, and then our quartermaster is 56. So that he's our oldest line officer.
Got it.
So we like to do stuff that's young veteran oriented.
Awesome.
So we're so much more than just a smoky bar, which is what I think the VFW has a negative image of that.
For sure. I don't want to dog on my own post, but I would say that you're hitting home there.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. Like, I think Irreverent Warriors with you guys' hikes and things like that. And I think that's a good way to draw in young, members, and legislative also. We've got to take care of that ourselves also. And we've got a pretty good ear because we are the VFW and we're 125 years old, and
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
So we got a really good ear, and for us, Jefferson City. And so we just got to inject some young blood into it.
I agree. And I think overlapping leadership teams can be helpful too, meaning, someone from your team on our team, and then someone from our team on your team, which we're already starting to intermingle and do that to make sure that, yes, they have distinctly different missions. However, the priority of veteran suicide is something we all know is so prevalent. I know, being a 4th ID, 4th Infantry Division guys, you guys both know guys that have died by suicide. I had 4 guys in my first platoon that have died already by suicide. So it is near and dear to all of us.
Yeah, but I think that veteran organizations in general need to come together.
Yeah.
I think that we're dividing ourselves and conquering ourselves.
Yeah,
There's a lot of ego. There's a lot of unnecessary ego that gets
Agree with
involved
that,
with
yeah.
titles and, I have this nonprofit and this is my AO and you can't come over here, and competitiveness that doesn't need to be there in the nonprofit side. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's ugly. Whenever I became the when I became an officer, that was one thing I wanted to do, was try to bring other veteran organizations together. And there were some that, and I'm not gonna throw shade on them, but there were some that just shunned me hard,
Sure.
like real hard. Like, no, you're them.
Sure.
And I'm like, them what? I'm a veteran, man. I'm just trying to do what's right for the community and for our brothers and sisters.
I felt it too. It's what I think it is compounded trauma then being projected onto an organization. So I had an interaction with someone from the VFW and they rubbed me this way and it hurt my feelings, but I'm not willing to actually address or admit that I have feelings. Those feelings that were hurt were actually hurt in 8th grade, you know, and I've held on to that. And anybody that makes me feel like that, I'm going to now make them the bad guy and I'm the victim, you know, and there's just like this whole ego war that happens. And it's like the whole VFW is not one person that was rude to you. You know, like you said, you went in to the VFW when you were younger and you didn't have anything against those guys, but you just didn't feel like that was your peer group. You know, you just didn't feel included. And then at some point in time, you opened your mind again, or whatever you want to call it. You were open and you went back in with a clean slate, you know, because you'd addressed or thought about or forgiven or whatever, you know. Forgiveness is a whole process, but you did something to where you went back in and you were like, I'm going to give this another shot, or I'm going to open my mind to the possibilities again and see what the universe provides, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also some of it is like a lot of veterans, it seems like when they get out, they're done. When I get it, you know.
There's a burnout period.
For sure. But whenever they get back into being around other veterans or an organization, they forget how to put the mission first, right? So if somebody hurts my feelings, that still doesn't affect the mission.
No.
Right? So whenever I was in service, do you know how many times people hurt people's feelings, but we still had a job to do?
100%. You had that combined purpose.
Exactly.
You mean that's not how we bond?
Right. Well, no, we do definitely.
Trauma bonding.
Yeah. But I think that happens more so than others. You know, a lot of veterans, they get out. You know, I'm only a one contract guy, so I was only in for my initial contract, and that was it. But then after that, I went to the civilian world, and it's a different world. And then it's dog eat dog, and you gotta, you know, not put the mission first because the company doesn't want you to put the mission first because they want you to be competitive or whatever the case may be. At least that's my experience in corporate America. And so then people get used to that, and then they go back into this. It's kind of a
more independent, a little bit more. It can seem a little bit more selfish of a position to take around. I got to look better than everybody else and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what happens, and they forget they don't check that at the door when they come into a veteran organization.
Like, this is a non-profit for the public good. You know, when you work for a 501c3 or you volunteer for a 501c3, it's not about profit. It's not about revenue. It's not about beating everybody else. It is about the public welfare, the public good. Your mission is to uplift the public, the community that you serve in your mission, right?
Yeah, not a single one of us is ever going to get rich doing this.
Oh, no, man. The exact opposite, man. It started to cost me a lot of money, man.
Oh, the song of last week was credit card debt, credit card debt, credit card debt.
So, but you know, to piggyback off of that, you know, it's about the community and it's about taking care of our own, and that's what we do in DeSoto. And that's, you know, just in September alone, we raised over $12,000, not for the VFW. As a matter of fact, this last Monday, I presented a check to the DeSoto Police Department for $4,900. We raised $4,900 for the DeSoto PD. We raised $3,800 for DeSoto Goes Pink, which is a great local organization. So if we have a community member going through chemo or anything to do with breast cancer, we give them, you know, gas cards. We'll pay their electric bill, stuff like that.
Wow.
And it's all volunteer. So there's no, you know, $3,800 of that is going to be used to that. Nobody's taking any money to do that. And there's no facility to run.
Right. But it's interesting how it's a lot of what comes into our inbox at Irreverent Warriors is questions and concerns about our finances, and then allegations around that we're using it for private jets or we're buying homes, or I don't even know where these rumors come from. But if you go to, I know this is probably the same for the VFW, but if you go to irreverentwarriors.org, you can see, if you go to our news and our blogs, you can see our 990, our external audit results. Our where all of our money goes to the mission and to the front line. We put everything out there transparently, and yet these rumors, these allegations, there's some sort of anger or institutional distrust that's out there in the veteran community, where any system that has an organization is doing things that are unethical, or doing things that are low integrity. It's just like an assumption. It's almost an assumption post-military that everybody is, that people aren't what they seem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not going to mention the organization, but there was an organization that got in trouble for that.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
So I think that people hang on that. But
it happens.
There's fraud across. There's going to be fraud in every industry or anything. The big thing is you can't put the entire veteran group on that.
I know.
That's the problem. But I didn't get to give my last shout out on what we raised money on, which is the most important one. We raised $3,500 for the Jefferson Barracks spinal cord unit.
Wow.
So that's pretty badass.
Awesome.
So,
and those aren't even my favorite ones we've done down there.
Yeah.
$2,300 for Wreaths Across America for wreaths this year?
It was $2,450, I think. We did raise $2,450 for Wreaths Across America. And
all that went into the wreaths. And then the one that hits my heartstrings the best most recently is the school out at...
Yeah. So, if you don't mind, I'll go into the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a small town called Richwoods just outside of DeSoto, and it's a very small, poor community. I actually grew up near there, and they had what was called an angel tree, and it was a tree that was put up in the foyer of the school, and you could go there and you could grab an angel off of there, and it was for Christmas. Well, when it was put on Facebook, and we went out and looked at it, and it would be like socks and underwear. Or
shoes, not Jordans, not this or that,
right.
Just new shoes that don't have holes in them.
Right. So we ended up partnering up with an auction service, Ozark Auctions, and we crushed it. There's no value. I don't know. I can't give you a value on how much we got donated to us and how much we donated as well. We raised money and went and bought, and man, we crushed that tree.
Dude, I love this community service stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we crushed it.
When you think about, that's such a beautiful story. And when I think about the future of IW and ways we could improve, it isn't just doing hikes with veterans only and civilian volunteers, and that's fantastic. I keep thinking that, when I read about what leads a lot of the causes, what are the leading causes of veteran suicide, a lot of it is a lack of a tribe, which we do a really good job of helping rebuild. And then the other thing is feeling like you don't bring value, or feeling like you don't have a purpose to your tribe. And it's that area in which our volunteers and our leaders within IW definitely get that. But the general hiker or the general participant with IW doesn't necessarily get that from our events. But if we were to do more community service and add more community service components, then you're hitting both of the major things, because the three major things are lack of a tribe, or feeling like you belong in a tribe, feeling like you're an outsider and you don't fit in. The second thing, as I said, having a purpose and feeling like you bring intrinsic value to that tribe. And then the third thing is being unafraid of pain or death, which veterans tend to have in a high amount. But it's the first two that then lead to a consideration of the third. And if you remove one of the first two, then the individual never goes to the third step. So I think that continuing to push on the area in which, yes, our volunteer leaders, our local coordinators, people on the hike team, they get that sense of purpose and intrinsic value. But the average participant, they have a sense of tribe, but not the sense of the value you bring to the tribe.
Is that, did you get that from the book Tribe?
No, but I love Sebastian Younger. I'm so glad you read that. It's such a good one.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the formula I'm talking about is kind of included in that book.
Yeah.
But I've been talking to Dr. Joyner from FSU, and he's one of the top veteran suicide data experts. And this is his formula. So it exists everywhere and it's existed forever. But I think it's important for everyone in IW to understand this formula.
Yeah. Well, I got one for you guys. If you guys want to come and help volunteer, it'll be in early May. I'll get Roy the dates, but we'll go to Jefferson Barracks to the spinal cord unit and we'll barbecue for those guys. And they have their wheelchair. Well, I don't want to say wheelchair, but their disability games at that same time.
Okay.
And we hang out with them and we barbecue for them and we help out with the games and it's a good time.
Well, I might be able to step this up even a tiny notch. So we have an Afghan community in St. Louis, and the Afghan community loves to barbecue for veterans. It's their number one favorite thing that they ask us anytime that you have an opportunity for Afghans to barbecue for veterans, because they do their own kebabs.
Right.
Like, just like shawarma and all that stuff. They make that. And we just did recently the Veterans Day Afghan barbecue at BFW.
Oh, man. Let's get together off the podcast and we'll get this details worked out, man. I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you go to building 54,
okay,
at Jefferson Barracks. Have you ever been to Jefferson Barracks?
Mm-hmm.
So building 54, I think the pool's on the first floor, the lower level. If you go outside the pool, there's a big barbecue pit there, and it's brick. And if you look at it, the DeSoto VFW built it.
Wow.
Yeah, all
What
the
a
way to
legacy.
Jefferson Barracks. Yeah,
That's awesome.
you know we're probably what, 40 miles away from Jefferson Barracks.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah, and so
Awesome.
and that's our barbecue pit.
It's the second largest military cemetery in the nation behind Arlington.
And, oh man, so
That tracks.
yeah, man. So I have family up there in Jefferson Barracks, and just going up there is so somber, but at the same time so gratifying.
It's just like Arlington.
Yeah,
It looks like Arlington. It feels like Arlington.
yeah, man. You go up there, it's just like, oh man, powerful.
Well, when we did the wreaths up there, we took one of the guys from the Vincennes chapter with us, and he brought his wife and his kids. And for all of them, it was very impactful. They had never been to such a massive military cemetery before to really grasp.
All those heroes, all those wars. It goes all the way back to the Revolution, right?
Yeah.
So it's all these heroes, all these wars, you know? I mean, right under where the St. Louis Arch is today was the primary Revolutionary War battle that was fought in St. Louis. Was right
Really?
there
Right
where
there?
the arch, like the fort that was right where the arch is now, which isn't why they picked that site or built it, but it happens to be sacred ground where that Revolutionary battle, and of course the Americans won that battle.
Yeah. So whenever I was on the arch grounds, you feel some kind of way, like I do. So I'll never forget this. I was in high school and I was on the arch grounds, and it was after 9/11. And I got to watch, who's it? It's Proud to be an American.
Toby Keith?
No.
Or no, Lee Greenwood?
Lee Greenwood. Lee Greenwood was performing as the Blue Angels flew over
in real life.
in real life. That was the moment I realized I was joining the Army. I was like, I'm joining the military. Like, this is happening.
Nice.
Yeah, the only way that gets better is if you got bald eagles landing on the arch at the time.
I'm pretty sure if you were quiet, you could hear some hatching in the distance for sure, man. It was so America.
Well, on that note, we are going to wrap it up today. But thank you so much, Tony, for joining us. Roy, as always. And we are the Lumbersexuals.
Yeah.
And we will see you again soon. Have a fantastic Christmas. If you're not spending it with family, get together with your Irreverent Warriors tribe. There are so many folks out there that are looking for alternative Christmas opportunities and events. So just poke around on your local Facebook group. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Happy New Year as well.